Good morning. It is Monday, December 8th. Are you ready? 17 days to Christmas. We're going to talk about that coming up on today's morning break. Nina May is going to be with us. We're going to talk about her movie, which is super cool, and Jesus Freaks. And if this is just a cool thing, and this is going to be a great interview coming up here in just a little bit on the morning break. Our My-Snackies look in. We are in Chicago for our look in today from My-Snackies.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. Remember to tell them how much you appreciate them being a sponsor here. Looks a little cold. Looks a lot cold in Chicago. Hey, it's cold here in Ohio. So we had more snow. You gotta love that. But here's the thing. Everybody here, if you live somewhere where there's snow, you always want to have snow for the holiday. I mean, we all do. That you want that white Christmas, right? I mean, we all want a white Christmas. Our long range forecast. So we got snow right now. Literally, we had to like shovel our way out this morning. We literally are not going to have, they're predicting now it's going to warm up and stay warm until after Christmas. I needed coffee for that. Right, folks, it's 7 Weeks Coffee. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order, okay? And you know, here's the thing about it. And you've heard me talk a little bit about it over the last few months that we've been doing this show, is that when I ordered the first time, I was just going to order the dark roast because I like dark roast coffee. That is my thing. I like a good dark roast. I am a very big fan of that. And so that's what I was going to do. But you should always listen to your wife. My wife goes, "No, Rob, I don't think you should do that. I think you should get a variety pack." I did and loved it. Got there are 4 popular blends, and you can get that in a 4-pack. It makes a great Christmas gift, or just get it for yourself. Tell Santa that you were good this year and you deserve it. Go to 7weekscoffee.com. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. And again, you're going to love this. It's just incredible coffee. It's small batch. If you've never been a part of a small batch coffee before or ever had it before, you don't know what you're missing out on. It is fantastic. It makes my day every day. I use creamer. You wouldn't have to. That's how good and rich their coffee is. It is so amazing that it's great coffee. And I do, like yesterday afternoon, my wife and I was working and my wife was decorating, and I was getting coffee and I didn't even think about it that I was getting coffee and not putting any creamer in it. I didn't. And that's just how good the coffee is. It's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. They appreciate it. We appreciate it. Are you ready for Christmas? I mean, seriously, we're 17 days from Christmas, where's the time gone? Where has the time gone? It is crazy. A couple of interesting things happening, by the way, right now. And I don't know if you saw about this or not. Right now, there is this holiday spirit contest going on. Top 3 finalists right now, Chicago. Oh, we could do another look in on the My Snackies look in. We can do that. There it is. It looks like the holiday there. Chicago's number 1, number 2 right now, New York, and number 3, Nashville. So all my friends down in Nashville, congratulations. You made the top 3. Voting continues on that. You need to check that out. Hey, on a serious note, yesterday morning, a friend of mine who works in radio in Indiana, while live on the air, had a heart attack. So pray for him. His It was Randall Ham. Randall's been a friend of mine and been a part of radio for as long as I can remember. And yesterday morning, while doing a Facebook Live and being on the radio, he suffered a heart attack. And thankful for the folks from the EMT and all the way up to the hospital where he's at right now. So prayers for Randall Ham. Um, Man, that's tough to see. It's tougher to see something like that happen live on Facebook. Now, I didn't see it, and I don't recommend going back and looking at it. But we're praying for you, Randall, praying for your health and your family. Get better soon. He actually won the radio award for the magazine that I own. So that's how long I've known Randall. And so get better, buddy. And we are all praying for you. And like I said, you ready for the holidays? A couple other things that are happening. And have you noticed this? There is a serious shortage right now in staff for the holidays. Usually a lot of people get extra jobs during the holidays. And so there's for retail and stuff, there's always that fill in. But unfortunately, this year, hiring, it's been tough to find people to fill those positions. So that's what's going on. So if you've had longer lines, we did on Saturday. It was crazy. That's why you should order online. In fact, when we come back after this commercial, which you should order from, Nina May is going to be with us. We're going to talk about her movie after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Great, folks. It's 7 Weeks Coffee. That is 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. I'm excited about this. Nina May is with us today on the morning break. Nina, good to have you here. And I'm excited because I saw the trailer for your movie and I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. But I love the part that you told me. We talked just a little bit before we started today. And I want you to start with that. Normally you probably don't, but I want you actually planned this whole movie as a surprise to your husband.
Yes. We make movies all the time, documentaries, romantic comedies, dramas, whatever. And it was coming up on our 50th anniversary. And since I do movies, if I was a used car salesman, I probably would have found him a car or something. But I thought, okay, our story is during the Jesus movement. That's where we met. I was a cheerleader. He was a hippie. Totally, he did Woodstock, for goodness sakes. And I was, a little church girl and stuff. And we met and, fell in love after we fell in love with Jesus through the move of the Holy Spirit that was happening all across the country. And again, it was in the early 70s. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make a movie about that without him knowing. So try and do that sometime in your spare time. Make a movie without your husband knowing. And everyone was in on.
That was going to be my question. So I know a little bit. I am not on your level of knowing movies, but it's not just like a little something you shoot with a camcorder. How did you keep him away?
Well, it was a God thing all the way along. It was just amazing. He had to be in Florida for 2 weeks, and we shot the entire movie in 13 days. And it just happened. Just a miracle that I set aside those 2 days in May, or 2 weeks in May. And I thought, okay, Lord, you're going to have to handle his schedule because I don't know how I'm going to get rid of him for 2 weeks. And about a month after we'd done all the casting and everything, his eye doctor called and said, Colby, can you be down here for about 2 weeks in May? Because I want to try out these new lenses on you. You're the perfect candidate for it, but you got to be in like every 2 days to get the adjustments and stuff. And he's going, sure, amazing, nice time to be down in Florida. I'm not, in with you. I'll be out playing golf or whatever. And so he asked me if those days were perfect, what would be okay with me for him to be down there. I said, perfect. I mean, is that amazing?
Yes, go.
Of all the 2 weeks in the entire year that I needed him to be away, so I didn't have to finagle it. I didn't have to finesse it and say, I'll get all his friends to invite him to play golf for 2 weeks or anything like that. I mean, God handled it. It was perfect. It was absolutely amazing. Well, here's a cool thing. Kevin and Sam Sorbo are in it, and their son, Braden, is the male lead. And so literally the day after we finished shooting, we had to fly to Knoxville because Kevin was working on a gala kind of thing that we were part of. And so we had to all pretend in front of Colby that we didn't know, that I didn't know their son. I mean, he knew, Sam and Kevin. And so it was like, oh, this must be your son, Braden, I've heard so much about. And Braden, this is my husband, Colby, who he had just played. Braden plays my husband in college. And it was the cutest thing. I wish I could have filmed it because I'm not an actress or anything, but boy, I poured it on. Because we had.
So I got to ask the question. So was his shirt really that ugly? Because in the movie you talk about the shirt, and I saw that in the trailer.
Oh.
That shirt was hideous.
Oh yeah,
that was.
He wore he never wore shoes. He would wear like stripes and plaids and flowers and just crazy stuff. It was just amazing. And I was Miss Prim and Proper. I'd always designed all my own clothes. I thought I was going to go into fashion design. So here I am, sort of a fashionista, falling in love with this crazy hippie that, just wore crazy stuff. But but he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. And he's in the industry.
So I want to ask you a question because this movie is your movie. How long did the process take to kind of set it up, to write it? And how did that process happen?
I wrote sort of the book, I guess. It was kind of the journal of what happened with us, getting falling in love and getting the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And it was around the same time I was writing that, I was learning how to do scripts, and we were starting to get into editing and film production. I thought, you know what, this could be an interesting one to just try out to see. And it just flowed out of my fingers. I mean, it was amazing. I was remembering things that I'd totally forgotten. There were tons of miracles. There were supernatural events that happened. And the more I started writing, the more I was thinking, people need to hear this story. But the thing that really was the trigger for it was that I just happened to be in the area. I'm not going to say what church. I'm not even going to say what town or anything like that, because I don't want people who may have known about it or been involved about it, I don't want them to be hurt or anything. But anyway, I was in this town, and I drove past the church. It's kind of in the opening scene. 95% of what you see in the movie is true. And so I rode past this church. I said, it's got to be the church. And I went in, and there was the janitor or whatever was there. And I said, is this a such and such church? And he says, yeah. And I says, is Pastor so-and-so still here? Oh, no. There was a scandal or something years ago when something happened and he had to leave, and it wasn't, and I was knowing what the whole thing was. He said, oh, and look at this. And he showed me a picture, and you'll see at the very end of the movie, it was just before the credits run, there's a picture of the church with a steeple literally stabbed into the roof of the church. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And it didn't touch anything. When it stabbed in, it didn't touch a pew. It didn't touch the floor. It ended about this far from the floor. It literally was a perfect circle of the roof that it went into. But at the angle, literally, it's impossible that it had that kind of momentum coming in at that angle, because it would have fallen off and probably bounced and fallen over. But it's in the church. And so one of Kevin Sorbo's lines was, oh my gosh, it's like the church attacked itself. And that was exactly what happened in real life. That church attacked itself. Those that were embracing the power of the Holy Spirit and the move of the Holy Spirit that was going across the nation, and those that were set in their old ways and were threatened by this new move of God. And it was a spiritual battle. I mean, an amazing spiritual battle. And so the young girl, Joni, was a summer missionary, and she was really trying. That was me, huh? And but the character's named Joni, and Josh is my husband, but his name is Colby. And so all the stuff that you see in there, all the conflicts and all the the throwdowns basically, and the challenges of the pastor and calling her on the carpet, and all of that stuff really, really happened. And it reached a sort of a boiling point. And then I was kicked out of the church. And it was interesting because when I was kicked out of the church, it was miraculous. It was one of those supernatural things that I can't even really explain, but he told me to get the H out of the church, I'm not wanted there, and you and your kind, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. And I remember it was the deacons that were there, about 20 of them. They were all there and, doing that kind of thing. And before I left, I turned and I said, I just want you to know I love you all and I forgive you. And as soon as I said that, I felt just this peace come over me. And I really did. I felt amazing love for them. I can't even describe it. It was God's love. And I walked out of the office. It was the pastor's office. I walked out and I walked through the door. And this is what's so hard to explain. I walked through the door and I felt myself like being lifted up. I mean, literally like about 10 feet off the ground. And I looked over, I didn't know what was going on because the kids were now gathered outside. And I looked out and I could see on the left side and the right side, my arms were stretched out like on the cross. But there was no pain. It wasn't like I was being nailed to the cross. It's just I was in the cross formation. And I'm having this conversation with the kids and they're wanting to know what happened. And as I'm talking to them, I'm sort of looking down at them like I'm from this high position. But they're talking to me. We're at eye level. So I was in two dimensions simultaneously. I was in the worldly dimension, but I was in the spiritual dimension at the same time. But only I could see the spiritual dimension. And I was kind of embarrassed going, I wonder how long I'm going to be up here. And the next thing I know, I see Colby, who in the movie is called Josh. His name is Josh. He's running around the church, and he's like Joshua at Jericho, and ran around the church. So he'd gotten there exactly at the time that I needed him. And the Lord had told him like an hour and a half before that, and this is in the movie too, I got to go. What do you mean you got to? I don't know. The Lord tells me I got to get to Joni. She needs me. And so that was before cell phones. That was before internet. That was before anything. He literally had to get in the car and drive to the church to find out what was going on. So he ends that seventh lap just as I'm lowering down off the cross. So we were able to embrace at that point. It was so magical. Not magical. Magic's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. It was so supernatural, I guess is the best way to say it. And things like that happened the entire time that we had accepted Christ and got baptized in the Holy Spirit. And we were seeing miracles all the time. We expected them, totally expected them. I still do. I expect miracles all the time. And we get them. It's very cool.
I think so that's a great point. It's not about the movie, but I think we as Christians, a lot of times we don't look for miracles and we need to start expecting them.
Exactly.
A pastor friend of mine says we don't have miracles happening a lot of times because the church as a whole isn't looking for them.
Yeah, that's exactly. Or expecting them. I expect it.
Yeah.
I've got this thing with God. I say, listen, your word is true. And if you say, ask in my name, you shall receive, or by his stripes we are healed. I mean, I throw it back at him. I say, you said that, I accept it as truth. So let's come on, let's play. Let's do it. And I've got this necklace on. This happened just the other day in New York. We were checking out of a hotel and this is like my favorite necklace. I wear it all the time. It's like an Omega chain kind of thing. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, we tore that room upside down. I said, Colby, I remember taking it off right here. And he said, well, do you think someone came in? And I said, no, I don't feel that. I just don't know where it is. And so we're all packed up. We're ready to go. We're pulling our luggage. And I just felt the Lord say, go check behind that pillow. A pillow on a chair that no one sat on. No one was even there. The necklace had nowhere beside it. But it was the only place in the room I had not checked. And I thought, okay, I got nothing to lose. We better hurry. We're going to get the train down back to D.C. Sure enough, I pulled the cushion back, and there it was. There was the necklace. I'm going, how did it get on this side of the room? How did it get? And I really believe it was God testing my faith, because I said, Lord, I know you're going to show it to me before I leave this room, because I do not want to have to go down to the front desk and report a missing necklace. I just do not want to do that, because I know it wasn't stolen. I just know it. And so it was like just literally like 3 feet from getting to the door. And, once you shut the door, it's locked and you're gone and done. And I don't know why I felt led to do that. And this was just like 2 days ago, a miracle. So, but yeah,
See, I love that
all
kind
the
of stuff.
time.
I love that kind of stuff because that's the way I am. And my conversations when I'm praying are not. Some people would probably think I was a little out there because I talk to God just like he is my friend. He's been.
Exactly.
I grew up as a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
I grew up with faith, and people will be like, "So that's how you pray?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like,
Like it's
hey,
friend.
you know the problem.
Yeah.
We had quite a discussion, a prayer discussion a few weeks ago when I was dealing with something business related. And I said, God, you know what's happening here. And I can't do anything to fix this. This has to be you. And here's what you say. And I love what you said because it's so important. And I think as Christians, we really need to emphasize this is saying back the words of Jesus. It's clearly in the Bible what the promises are, and we can just go. And my wife and I now have been doing, I think it's 140 days. um we've been doing the prayer of Jabez every day,
Okay.
every day, and we do it, and then we write down all of our blessings. And for people that watch this show or watch the show that my wife and I do, you're probably sick of us talking about it, but it's been a real impactful to write down all the things that God has answered every day. Every day, we're I think it's like 138, 139 days now
Yeah.
of us doing this.
That's
And it really is impactful. And then we read the scriptures that God says, the promises that he has for us. And it's really powerful. So without giving too much about the movie away, because I want you to give the website so people can go now. Where can they watch it? Where can they watch it right now? Because I know it was on TCT.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Apple TV, Hulu, Roku. It's on practically all the platforms, basically. Or you can go to JesusFreaksMovie.com, and you can, especially if you want to buy a DVD. And the DVDs are available through Amazon, but you can get them from our website too if you want to do that. Because there are so many people that said, I don't want to give my credit card over the line. I don't know how to do this. My grandson does it for me, but he's not going to be here. So we said, okay, let's just go ahead. Let's just make some DVDs. And honestly, I give them out all the time, kind of as calling cards. There it is. It's just kind of shiny.
Which is so cool. I don't know who did your art. Whoever that was, please pay them. You did it?
Yeah, I'm an artist. So here's the
it was so cool. I love the vibe. I was like, because I'm not an artist. I come from a very talented family of artistic things, and I grew up like going to the Walker Institute and going to all these places to see art, but I can't draw a straight line. I mean, to save my life with a ruler.
Well,
and
you apply a lot of artistic elements to making a movie, and so I really feel that the Lord gave me that ability so that I could transfer it into movie making, which I feel is my calling now, basically.
Well, tell for you personally, then I love the aesthetic because being a marketing person and it just caught my eye. Everything I was like, wow, they spent really good on their marketing because this is amazing. And of course, I love the Volkswagen bus.
Yeah,
that was
another miracle.
Yeah.
That was a total miracle. I mean, just in a quick 2 seconds, we'd contacted someone for a VW bus to be at this little town so we could do that scene. And the fellow that was working with me, my first AD, ran ahead, and he got there, and he could not reach the person on the phone, could not reach him on the phone. So when he got there, there's this VW bus sitting there. Oh, I guess he got here already. And just as he gets there and sees it, the man is on the phone saying, oh, Adam, I'm so sorry. I could not get away, and I can't bring you the VW bus. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. Literally, he's looking at it, and he said, well, if you didn't bring it, whose is this? He goes, I don't know. I don't know anyone else that has one in the area. So he's going, and it's a tiny little town. And it was right across the street from a pizza place. And he's looking around, he can't see anyone. So he goes to the pizza place and he says, excuse me, who owns the VW bus right across the street? And this man said, it's mine. And he told him what we're doing. Can we use it in this film and everything? If he had not been there, and we didn't move it 1 inch. It was exactly where we needed it. It was amazing. And the sheriff had already gotten there, and he was in the car. And the other fellow was lined up with the Mustang. You got to see the trailer. You know the scene that I'm talking about. And everything was ready to go. And we didn't have any time to spare. So it's like God set the scene up for us. We didn't have to do anything. We just basically said, action. And it all just happened. It was amazing.
Oh,
it was amazing.
That is so That is so cool. See, it's everything. I think when people start watching where God is working
Mhm.
and really, really noticing in their daily life, I love this. Nina, we didn't really get to talk about everything because we just had fun talking. I'd love to have you back on
Oh,
again
absolutely.
and really get a chance to talk about some other stuff that you've got going on. One just really quick final thing before we have to run.
Huh.
If somebody's out there saying, I want to start working in Christian films, what would your advice be?
Just go ahead and do it. Just start. I mean, you can start with your cell phone. The key thing is you need to know how to do editing because you can film everything great in the world. Then, if you don't have an editor or you don't know how to edit, then it's wasted time. So I would get into and DaVinci is the newest one that everyone's using. You got Adobe, DaVinci, Final Cut Pro. There are a lot of them. We know all of them. We use all of them. I'd start with one, get used to the editing, and then that'll show you literally what shots that you want to do. Just start small and post them on YouTube, send notices out, and one thing leads to another, leads to another. We started with documentaries and short documentaries. Actually, we had a TV show, then we did the documentaries, then we did series, then we did the movies, and on and on. But I would say just do it. I didn't go to a film school. I didn't have any training on it. I just had it's like an eye for a movie or something. Maybe writing that script kind of made me think, okay, this is pretty simple. But I've learned so much since then. And when we do our movies, it's on the job training for interns. So we wanted to find undiscovered talent in front of and behind the camera. And we've jump-started a lot of careers with Renaissance Women Productions. And a lot of them, almost all the kids that we've worked with are now in production full time. So we're spreading the word within the Christian community and secular community that we've got some really good talented kids. So and you can find out more about Jesus Freaks, the movie, at jesusfreaksmovie.com. And that also takes you back to Renaissance Women Productions and First Lady. That's a really cute romantic comedy with Corbin Burnson and Nancy Stafford and Stacey Dash, and it's really great. Beyond the Mask with Aaron Burns was one of the very first ones I helped work on. And so Lifeline Tune won the International Family Film Festival in Hollywood. And so we've been doing some fun things.
You've been doing awesome stuff. Hey, listen, we appreciate you so very much for being with us. Hey, stick around for just a minute after we get out of this break. And I would love to talk to you just a little bit more about having you back on. See, this is what we do right live on the air. We make sure we get our guests lined up. But hey, Nina May has been with us on today's edition. Another great day. Remember to check out her website, check out everything that's going on there. And man, it has been an incredible day. Hey, I'd like to thank the great folks at my-snackies.com. Remember to go and order Christmas. You can get it through this week. So make sure, and that was one thing I forgot to mention when we did the look-in Chicago. Thanks to great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. Remember, use the promo code ATV10 for 7 Weeks Coffee. And Act Social. We didn't get to talk about them today. It's been a crazy busy day. Act Social, ACTSsocial.com. If your voice you feel is being muted by social media, go to ACTSsocial.com. We believe in it so much that my wife and I became one of their corporate sponsors. Check it out, ACTSsocial.com. Remember to become my friend on there, and then also fastest growing group on there, the Abundant Group. And wow, it has been a great day. Hey, listen, go out and just have an amazing day. You've had your break, so you better get back to work. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the Morning Break.